What's up guys, welcome back to Zonda's Builds. Today's video, we are building a PC. So this is my new editing PC that I've been wanting to build for such a long time. And I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to get to building this thing. As you can see, we got our thinking caps on, got our reading glasses to read the fine print. Which are bullshit, these are just some sunglasses. Anyways, let's get into this. So I wanted to do this properly, but also on a budget at the same time. So some of the components I bought secondhand from different places. So I bought the components of Tech, which is a South African online store for PC components. They got really good prices and stuff. Apart from the graphics card, motherboard and CPU, that I bought from Carbonize, which is an online forum in South Africa where people buy and sell secondhand PC parts. So the i7, the CPU is an i7 9700K 9th gen. It is brand new, but I paid quite a lot less for it than it would have been from Tech. I think like 60% of the price that I would have paid. The graphics card is used. It is used. It's a GTX 1070 Windforce OC from Gigabyte. I don't know. I'll probably upgrade that later. And my motherboard is also a Gigabyte Z390UD, which is also of Carbonite, but it was also brand new, just cheaper because it was used. I guess it was bought and then just sold again. Further than that, I've got 16 gigabytes of Klevv Bolt X RAM, 3200 megahertz, and I've got a Cras M.2 NMVE SSD, 240 gigabytes. Further than that, I just got a normal air cooler. Water cooling is a bit expensive, although it would have been really cool. And I've got an Antec VP500PC power supply, a 500 watt power supply. And for my case, it's just an Antec NX110 with some RGB in as well, with a little viewing plastic glass thing. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, I want to keep myself grounded. So I've plugged in my power supply to the mains and the switch is off. I'll just touch it every now and then to keep myself grounded. Next up, I'll be installing my CPU, making sure not to touch any other connections, handling it very carefully and leaving the cover on. Also making sure it goes in the right way. When closing the latch, you'll want to make sure that the little clip goes underneath the screw when you clip it in. Now it's time for my M.2 SSD, first removing the screw, then sliding it into the slot and putting the screw back in. Next up will be my RAM, making sure the clips are opened and putting it into B1 and then into A1. You can press down on it quite firmly, making sure it clicks on both sides. Last thing before putting the motherboard in the box would be the cooler. So I'm taking off the fan just so I can reach the screws easier. Next up, I'm going to be putting some thermal paste on the CPU. This little baggie was actually just enough, so I put the whole one on. So I should have put the back plates on first, and I should have put the little metal tabs on the cooler before I started putting the cooler on, but anyways, here we are. I'm placing my cooler sideways so that my fan can blow backwards towards the exhaust fan. Always remember to put the spacers that you got with the cooler on before installing it. When installing the final screws, be careful not to tighten them too much or too little, but especially not too much. It's also a good idea to turn the one a little bit, then the other one, then the other one, until it's finally tight. Don't screw one down all the way before turning the others. Lastly, it's time to put the fan back on. I put it on so that the cable is closest to the fan connector. Time to put the motherboard in the case. I also decided to flip the rear fan around just so that the cable is closer to the fan connector. So before actually installing the motherboard, I checked where all the front panel cables connect to the motherboard, and I routed them there beforehand to make my cable management a little bit easier. So I first check to make sure which screws are meant for the motherboard, just so I have the right ones. Time to get the IO shield installed. Always check that the little round holes are at the bottom. So now I've got the motherboard in. I'm only installing 2 screws and I'm not screwing them down all the way since a lot of cables still have to come through the back of the motherboard. Now it's time to connect all the front panel connectors to the motherboard. They're pretty easy to connect, all of them are named well and it's easy to find their positions. As you might have noticed, the thinking cap is gone and I put a jersey on because it is now night time and quite cold. It's now time for the power supply to be installed, and please don't mind the messy hair. Lockdown got us struggling without the hairdressers being open. I'm also making sure that the power supply fan is blowing downwards, so towards the exhaust fan. Okay, time to start routing all the cables. We're almost done with the build now. Firstly, I'm going to start with the motherboard power connector, routing all of it back through the back of the case and then back in through the front to hide it as best I can. When plugging the motherboard connector in, put some back pressure on the motherboard since this does take quite a bit of force, and be careful not to damage the motherboard. Now I'm plugging in my 8-pin CPU power plug. Do make sure it's the right one. They usually split in the middle instead of splitting 6-2 like the graphics card plugs do. Now I'm just gesturing which way the air will flow and how the airflow will work to cool down the PC. It is now time to install the graphics card after taking off those little back panels to give access. I'm just routing the GPU power cable down to where it will be plugged in before I install the GPU to make it easier. Remember to unclip the little latch that the GPU clips into before installing it. Once again, press down firmly on the graphics card to make sure it clips in properly. After which you will just tighten the screws and that's it. Lastly, you will need to plug in your GPU with another 8-pin connector. Now I'm just going to do some last cable management, routing all my SATA cables to the back of the panel where it will be out of sight and out of mind. The last thing I need to plug in there is my SATA connector for the power for the front panel. I don't have any hard drives at the moment, but there will be some installed later on.
Okay guys, so we are basically finished with the build. All that's left to do now is start it up and see if it posts. Yeah, close it up, put some windows on it, run some benchmarks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun building this PC. Really can't wait to see how she performs. Okay, let's get to starting her up and see if she works. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. I've plugged it in, turned the little switch on the back to on, which you don't want to forget. If you really want like to stress about it not working. Anyways, here we go. Okay, there's lights. That's a good sign. Let's hook up a monitor to her and get into the BIOS. Let's see if she posts. Here we go. Lights, fans. Yup. She is working. Both our RAM is showing. 16 gigs in total of RAM. i7 9700K. Yep. That's all good. It's time to put the back panel back on. Oh, the front panel actually. But there's a thin film on here, so this is gonna make quite a nice peel. Satisfaction. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the PC build. I look forward to editing on this instead of my piece of shit laptop. Hopefully the video quality will increase and the production value. That is if my skills get good enough. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please do give a like and subscribe if you liked the video. See you guys in the next one.